What it do, guys? We back at it again, man. I'm here with a little banger for today. I'm gonna talk about landmines in life, man. This is purely coming from my experience as a 24-year-old man. I've made over 10K a month for about half a year now, so I have a bit of a different perspective. Ever since I turned 24, I've been in that position, well en route to make over 6 figures. And let's just be honest, this is gonna be a lot of heart-wrenching stuff that if you're doing, I hope that you turn it around. It's gonna be a longer video, so if you wanna have me for the background or whatever, it's definitely perfectly fine. But understand, this is gonna be a lot of knowledge and a lot of shit that I'm learning, so stay tuned. So let's start off with the first one, man. What are landmines? Landmines are literally spots you touch, man, that are just bad for you. Like things that I've seen in life that just fuck you up, man. And I could curse now, I'm not monetized yet, so I could be myself, you know what I'm saying? So my issue is like a lot of landmines you talk about are gonna come through and you're gonna see it, but then sometimes people step on it. And the reason people step on it is because it's not even lack of knowledge sometimes. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's just a I don't give a fuck attitude. And the I don't give a fuck attitude leads to another thing that it's bad for you, and then another, and then another, and then it just keeps pounding on, you know? So I'm gonna start off with youth landmines. When you're young, there's a lot of shit, man, that you can do to fuck up the rest of your life, man. And the first one that comes out of my brain as being a young, just getting out of being a teenager and being a young child is selling drugs. One of the things, I mean, sometimes you have to do it, I get it. But selling and using drugs can really hinder you. See, what happens is when you start selling drugs, you train your brain to get money fast, right? So what happens is you get money fast, and you're like, okay, you go into a job, and whenever you start off young, you go into a job, it's like $15 an hour or whatever. Probably less in other states, whatever you live at, or anywhere else in the world that you live at. It's a little different currencies, whatever. But the whole point is you're not seeing the same type of money, and you're not seeing it as fast. You have to either wait a week or wait every 2 weeks, and depending on the amount of hours you get, because you're young, you're not going to be able to get incredible amounts of hours or even high wage, depending the majority of us. You're gonna be pissed. I mean, you're only gonna see taxes taken out of it and everything, so you're only gonna see $300-400. You're like, fuck, man, this is not enough. Compared to you know, spending $100 getting some weed, you get another $200 real fast. But then it's just like, see, the thing is, you train your brain to get money fast, and then all of a sudden, you get in trouble, right? So you get arrested for the first time, boom. Then you realize you haven't even been making that much money because you gotta re-up again. So you spend $120 on an O or $160 on an ounce, right? Of whatever you wanna do, or just, let's just say product sales, right? When you sell drugs. So you spend whatever you gotta spend on it, right? You make $50-60 on top of it, but in your head, I made $200. You did it, you only made like $50-60. But you think you made a lot of money because it's all in your hand and you just got it back. You see what I'm saying? So depending on what you sell, where you sell, you're not really gonna see too much unless you get in a higher scale. And when you're young, sadly, that's not what is gonna happen. You're probably gonna be under some guys, you know? And then let's be realistic now, you're gonna get into some people's territories. And when you get into some people's territories and you're selling, man, is an issue. I mean, you're gonna be in a position where you could get shot, you could get stabbed, you could get beat the fuck up, you could get robbed all the time because people, you hanging around people that is not for you. So there's no honor amongst thieves, you know what I'm saying? There's no honor in it. And it's just like, especially for young black men that like me, or young Latino men like me as well, you know what I'm saying? I need y'all to understand that even though it looks cool, like even though that's the music we listen to and everything, that's really not the route, bro. Because at the same time, it's like it's only gonna lead you astray. So, you feel me? Another youth problem is doing drugs, man. I mean, I smoked weed before, I'm not gonna lie. I've taken acid. This is not coming from somebody that hasn't done it. But this is coming from somebody that's seen what can happen when people take it too far. I took it too far with weed. I used to smoke weed every day, and that shit hindered my production for years. It took me a long time to even find, I mean, just recently, to be honest, like a year ago, where I found this job, well, a few months ago, where I found this job, and I have been, man, not smoking because I can't smoke in this job. I mean, I love to smoke, but you know, it hinders you. I know that, and it stops your ability to be better as a human being. It stops your ability to be stronger and more smarter. Because let's be real. I mean, I'm not just talking about weed. I'm talking about there's people on meth, there's people on heroin, there's people on cocaine. And then the issue with that is it's like, okay, you do all these things. So like now you're it starts off with being emotionally independent, right? So at first it's cool, whatever, you don't really need it. You're like, I'm taking it, smoke or do whatever, you feel me? Because it's cool, whatever, you feel me? You feeling good, you don't need it at first. But then after a while, you take it a few times and then it's just like, hold up. Why am I hanging around, all the people I'm hanging around with is all that they want to do is smoke. So all of a sudden it's just like, oh, if you don't got weed, you don't really want to chill. So it's kind of like, all right, cool, whatever. And then boom, everything happens for a reason, because it's like, then you start doing these things and now it's like you're emotionally dependent on it. Now whenever you pissed off, it's like, nah, I gotta smoke. Nah, I gotta do this. Nah, I gotta do that. I mean, there's other drugs that are even more addictive than weed, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden you need that craving, like you start scratching. I mean, I know y'all seen it. I mean, if y'all grew up in the hood, if you grew up in nice neighborhoods, you probably never seen that unless it's in movies, but that's cool. My thing is like, you can get really dependent on these things really fast. And then once you get dependent on these things, that's when the addiction comes. That's when you start spending the majority of your money on it. Man, I was spending about $250 back in 2015 on weed. That was a lot of money back then. You could get a lot of shit. I mean, I think that's equivalent to like $500-600 today. I know there's only 8 years, but inflation goes crazy. So with $250 back then, I could buy 2 pairs of Jordans. Nowadays, it's only 1. So yeah, I already know how that goes. And that's an issue, man. Like when you use drugs and you're young, man, you also changing your brain. I mean, my brain's not even fully developed. So imagine you being a teenager, right? Like, your brain's not even fully developed yet. So it's just like, I'm still learning myself and I'm still growing emotionally and mentally. And I'm not even 25 yet. So it's just like, imagine when you're 16, 17, 15 years old, like, hold up, I'm changing the way my brain operates. Now you're changing it. You're changing the chemical balances in your brain forever. Not even just for now, it's forever. So doing drugs at a young age is a very big landmine, because doing drugs at a young age, I've seen people become addicts. I've seen people that have gone through very good trajectories, become good athletes and all that at a young age, and they were doing drugs, they got too addicted and then fell down that path. I've seen people kill themselves while they've been on drugs, man. It's crazy. Like, drugs can be a real big landmine for you when you're young, even when you're an adult. But it's just like, you want to really not do it at all, of course. I mean, even if you do, I mean, alcohol you could consider a drug and stuff like that. And ibuprofen too, but try to limit yourself if you do it. But I hope you take my, advice into consideration. I've seen too many people fall. I've seen too many people get abused. I see too many women and young men that have been led astray with drugs. So this is what I'm going to talk about when you were young. I mean, you probably heard this before. It's not doing good in school. I mean, realistically, not everybody has to be great at school. But it's a principle of it, right? You want to just finish the first thing in life. You can't really do anything nowadays without a high school diploma. I mean, you don't really need college. I understand that. But high school, you kind of need. So, I mean, at least get that done out of the way. Because every job requires a high school diploma. Any job that you really need. I think even McDonald's now requires a high school diploma. Fucking crazy, I understand, but it is the world we live in. So everything's going on, shit happens, whatever, boom, boom, boom. So now we're here. If you're not doing good in school, it just leads to a cascade of things, right? You start quitting. I've seen people that quit at school. I mean, this might be different, but 9 times out of 10, this is what it is, from my observation. The people that quit at school, they start quitting on other things. You start quitting on your girl. You start quitting on your daughter. You start quitting on this. You feel me? You can't just finish something because you trained your brain ever since you've been young to start quitting on shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like real shit. Like, you coming through, quitting on everything because you couldn't even finish the first step. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm not saying you can't be successful without finishing school, but you gotta at least finish high school, man. You don't need to go to college. I mean, you could take the route I did, go to military, you could go training school, whatever. Feel me? Do whatever. And there's money in a lot of places. You just gotta really be informed and know what the fuck you're doing. But you at least gotta finish high school because all the doors can't open without high school. And then it's just like, if you don't finish high school, you might have to be relegated to selling drugs, which is coinciding with my last point, with my first point, where if you sell drugs, you get complacent with selling drugs, and then you get into the system, man. It's just like your statistics is lower and lower to get successful in life. And I understand all of you feel me? I'm not gonna be Andrew Tate and say you want a Bugatti, but everybody here wants nice cars, nice places, and nice apartments, you know what I'm saying? You wanna be getting money, getting your money up and doing good, so, feel me? Now, I really wanna talk about this point. This point is hitting home because everybody I know, listen, my cousins, my siblings, outside of my 12-year-old little brother, all of them have kids. Like, it's crazy. I mean, pregnant all have kids, you know? Like 20, 19 years old, like, I guess, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people that I know had kids real early. So, I mean, that's just gonna happen. I mean, as you grow up, you're gonna see that. I mean, I'm only 24, and I'm still young, and I actually make more money than anybody I know. I mean, for my age group, there's nobody that fucks with me. There's nobody in my stratosphere right now. So what happens with that is that I still don't want to have a kid. And that's because I have aspirations to be a billionaire. And a lot of people don't have that. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But I will tell you this. Having kids too early, okay, which is nothing horrible with it. I mean, if you can take care of it or if you want to struggle, that's up to you. But having kids too early sets them at a disadvantage. Why? Before you are an adult, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I consider you an adult as soon as you move out of your parents' house, because no matter what age you are, you need to be able to support yourself. So I moved out at 18, so I became an adult at 18, you know what I mean? You could become an adult at 30, for all I know, you know what I mean? Because maturity is not the same as age. Maturity is life, you know? So what happens with that is if you have a kid too early, still living with your mom, you're not an adult yourself. So you're about to take care of a child when you're a child yourself. You know what I mean? It's just like you 15, 16 having a baby, bro. Like, you a kid yourself. You haven't lived, you haven't traveled, you haven't even made your own money yet. Like, you know, it's just like, don't set yourself up. I mean, you can still succeed with a kid, but I always put this analogy, right, to my youngins. You can still run a marathon, right? You could always run a marathon, right? And a marathon's already hard. Having a kid is like running a marathon with a backpack full of bricks. You can still finish it, but why do you have to do that to yourself, right? And this is big landmine right here, like 50 to 40% of people hit this one right here. Please don't have kids too early, or before you have, if this is your prerogative, right? If you want to have kids, understand, have kids when you're a little stable. Like, have your own apartment. I'm not saying you have to be rich, but just have an apartment, have a nice little career going on, make like a good 60 to 50K a year, normal, average. Be able to support your kid. You see what I'm saying? It's okay to be average. It's perfectly fine. But just, you need to get to average. If you're below average, don't have a kid yet, because then it's just like that food stand Section 8, baby. You gonna grow him up and he gonna be right next to the hood, and then introduce to drugs, introduce to gang culture, all that. Especially us being minorities, if you're a minority watching this, or if you're white and poor. I mean, same thing. Like, we all growing up in bad circumstances. You don't want that for your kid, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, this next one is gonna be big, and that's taking fucking bad advice. Listen, a lot of us take advice from people who don't have a goddamn sense to give advice. And I know this because I took a lot of advice from people that weren't qualified to give advice. See, I'm not here telling you how to be a millionaire. I'm here telling you how to be stable and how to avoid certain landmines that I've seen, right? I'm in a position, and I can feasibly say this by statistics, by 25 and under, I'm part of the 1%. From 30 and under, I'm part of the 3%. right? Actually, I'm part of the 1% for the 30 and under too, but I could say 3% because over 6 figures. But 30 and under for somebody making my amount of money is still 1%. Now, when we're talking about the grand scheme of all, I'm top 8% of America. Now, I'm only 24 and I can do that. So a lot of people that make the money I make are in their 40s. So I feel qualified enough to give you certain level of advice. Now, to move past that, taking bad advice can set you back, right? A lot of people talk to you about money that don't know about money. Like, there's people that try to give you advice on money and are 300K in debt because they bought a Beamer and they bought a house that they can't pay for anymore, and they just went to Miami, but their car's about to get repoed. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, fuck, that might fuck me over later. But anyways, the whole point is, it's like, yo, you gotta really do what you gotta do. And it's just like, sometimes we have people in our corner that are bad. But the beautiful part of being born in this day and age and after this day and age is that we have the internet. And the internet has people like me, I mean, much more qualified than me as well. But there's people like me, if you watch me and take my advice, that can give you advice and tell you step by step how they got to where they got to, what they can do. So you have good people to give you good advice in different scenarios, in different places, in different worlds, different ways to talk. You might not receive my information very well, but you might receive somebody else's very well. So you gotta find who the hell you got, who you find better and better to talk to. All right, now we're gonna get to the adult landmines. Oh man, adult landmines. This is hitting home right now, man. Not learning new skills. A lot of people graduate high school, right? And I'm fucking 7 years after high school now. Shit, kind of crazy, right? 7 years after high school, I've seen people graduate high school, just not elevate themselves whatsoever. They don't even go to the gym, nothing, no job, nothing. You just have nothing going on with your life at all. Just play video games all these years and live in your mom's basement and work at McDonald's. Oh, wait, you're a manager now at McDonald's. Some people aren't even managers at their fast food joints too. Kind of sad. Or some people got arrested, You ain't learned no new skills there. I mean, you probably did on the streets, but hey, who knows? My whole point with that is, the older you get, you gotta learn and adapt more. Learning doesn't stop, right? Now, when I mean learning, doesn't mean learning from a book. Learning how to be better with people, learning how to make more money, learning how to do this, that, and the third. Like, upgrade yourself as a human being in different ways. Learn how to talk better, learn how to do a YouTube channel, learn how to fucking clean better, learn how to take care of yourself, learn how to move out, learn how to... Life is learning. You're always gonna learn something. Somebody that says he knows everything knows nothing. Like, take that. You feel me? A big landmine is becoming complacent. Becoming complacent is harsh. And I will give you an asterisk on this, because a lot of people become complacent, but they're just not as hungry as I am, And that's fine. But if you're complacent, this probably isn't for you, this channel. You know what I'm saying? I don't see why you're here. I don't see why you're watching this. I kind of don't even want you here, like, honestly, because it's just like, for what? Why are you watching me? I'm here talking about getting money. I'm here talking about being better. I want a strive, and people that watch me, I hope you are the same, right? It's like, you're not open to new ideas when you're complacent, because you just think everything's gonna run the same. You just want it to be all the same. You want to have your own little Section 8 apartment where you pay $800 a month and split it with your girl, and have your son grow up and be chilling. And that's fine. But me, I'm open to new ideas. I'm always open to everything that's new, to learn that new critical things that challenge what I think about in life, challenge what I believe. I'm always open to relocation. That's a big, big thing. You all need to be open to go somewhere else where you don't know anybody. Because this is the thing, right? With this job, I couldn't have gotten this job if I would have stayed in New York. They don't have it. But guess what? I came all the way out here to do it. And now I'm doing better than everyone I know. So it's up to you, man, to take It's up to you to take these landmines and see them, because sometimes you see them even before, and be like, yeah, I'm not gonna step on it. Because as a young kid, I used to always question and be like, yo, why do people do bad? Why do some people do bad and why do some people do good? And I've realized, I really did realize, it's because they don't take the right steps. Like, you're not taking the right steps. You're not doing what you gotta do. It's leading you down the wrong road. It's leading you to be messed up. It's leading you to, not have money. And a lot of people say money isn't happiness, and that's true. It isn't. But without money, are you happy? It's kind of weird, right? It's like a weird dilemma. Like, without money, are you happy? Without money, can you get the stuff you want to make yourself happy? Without money, can you be in a position to even be happy? Because it's just like, if you don't have food and basic necessities, how are you gonna live? You at least need the simple stuff, and with that, you need money. It's sad, but that's the world. I mean, the more money you have, the better your life situation gets. I hope this was all educational for you. I just wanted to give you some advice for my future children. This is for you as well. Watching daddy talk about shit. I hope I don't fucking die, and this is the only way you watch me. It's kind of crazy. But for future generations, here I am, and I hope these usually don't change. They might change from observations, but realistically though, I mean, even when you were my older generation, this was the same thing. Yeah, I understand that life changes pretty fast nowadays though, ever since the internet came out. So things can change as well. So my advice might be obsolete in 10 years. But a lot of it is just core fundamentals. So you do what you gotta do. All right, guys, peace.